Welcome to Book Club The Yappening, a podcast where we discuss every and all things we've read and some of us haven't read, in a safe place where we can yap about life in general. In the description, you'll find links to our Fable, Instagram, and Discord accounts. Please follow for more yapping in different styles. For a warning, we will 100% be spoiling this book, so please pause, go read, and come back to yap. Today, obviously, Nick, Brittney, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Unfortunately, today I'm hosting.
Oh my god,
so
shut up.
I tried to be as organized as possible with this one. I'm sure there'll be a million tangents, a million things I've forgotten. But luckily, Brittney has also read this book with me.
Sure have.
So today we're gonna be discussing
Drumroll.
It's When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill.
Oh, okay, what time period are we talking here? When were they dragons exactly?
I would honestly say this is like 50s.
Yeah,
Yes,
so 1950s and
the Golden
like
Dragon Age.
1955 is kind of like yeah.
Post Dragon World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Before Dragon Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. I think her aunt was in World War II, maybe, but I could be fully misremembering that. It's been a minute.
Honestly, I thought she was in the military too.
Yeah, I'm almost positive. She was like a mechanic, right?
She was straight up just a mechanic.
Oh, I thought she was
straight up just a mechanic. I thought she flew planes. I think she definitely worked on planes.
Me too.
Like she's like hella like. I think she had I think they were in the army. Like like correct me if I'm wrong.
You know what, girl? I remember the same you remember. So
yeah, I definitely did not reread the book to write my notes for this, like full disclosure, but I definitely did like a college research, like in depth of trying to figure stuff out. So
yeah, I was trying to be a smart aleck, and I got a lot of information out of that, so I'll take it.
I mean, this is basically like one girl's memoir, so we're going to essentially start from when she's like 2 or 3 years old, like very, very young.
Baby, like like a kid. It's like when you first start forming memories as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
When Women Were Dragons, the roaring 50s.
Yep.
Yeah, the roaring 50s,
Wow.
flaming fear in women.
Flamin' 50s.
Power. Flaming 50s. If you haven't read this book yet, I suggest you go ahead and read it before joining us on this podcast. If you don't want any spoilers, because we're going to be spoiling the whole book. Content warnings are death of parent, abandonment, sexism, cancer, homophobia, misogyny, alcoholism, infidelity, panic attacks, and disorders. Okay, so I wrote things down, so let's start. So imagine one day, your mother suddenly disappears without a trace. Your father is so disconnected with his family that your aunt becomes your sole motherly figure, basically your hero. You know, until one day your mother suddenly returns out of the blue, out of nowhere, years later. So welcome, the life of Alex Green, the main character of this story. When she starts the story, she's a kid. She's like a little kid. And then, you're going through her life story. So if she's little, she's trying to process, that her mother is gone. And that her aunt's there. And then her aunt becomes kind of like her everything. And her dad's kind of he's a salaryman. He's going to work. He's coming home. He doesn't really have much to say. And then suddenly out of nowhere, your dad just brings your mom home. Your mom is kind of a void of the woman that you could ever remember when you were a little kid. And her aunt basically stays with them to take care of her mother while she comes home. In this time period, there have been rumors of women suddenly combusting into dragons. And it's a very hush-hush. The government doesn't want you talking about it. You could get into big trouble talking about it or possibly disappeared by talking about it. It is a taboo topic. So
Yes.
Even Alex, as a little girl, she's heard stories of, this, but she just always knew that she wasn't allowed to talk about it. And even her mother, they don't say that she dragoned. It's heavily implied because of the marks on her body.
Yes.
And, Yeah, so she had, like, marks on her body because, like, they were very vague about it because you could either take it as she was just sick because her mom does have cancer and that she was away for treatment is how they were posing it, I feel.
I think that's what it is because I think later in the story, they basically go on to say that once you become a dragon, you're a dragon, that's it. So I do think that it was likely more so the cancer treatments, but I, too, got the impression that she had become a dragon and then undragoned.
Yeah, no, because that's further proved because Beatrice, she can dragon and undragon, but we'll get to Beatrice later.
I think she was the first. I think that she was the first one, though.
Okay, so the chemotherapy and stuff prevented her dragoning? It wasn't like...
So not everybody turns into a dragon? Okay. Yeah. So not everybody turns in... Sorry, Jessy. I'm stepping all over your stuff. Take it away, girl.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Go. No, go. Do it. No, step over it, girl. I was like, my notes will be minimum because Brittany will help me.
Yes. So, not every woman will turn into a dragon, but it does seem to happen, under times of, like, just big emotions. So there's essentially the dragoning where a bunch of women turned into dragons and flew the fuck off. And it's kind of implied that a lot of them maybe transformed because they were being abused by their husbands. So that's kind of what happened. And then nobody talks about it and nobody's allowing any studies or research to be done, which absolutely does not sound like anything that's happening in present day where women's issues are not being studied. But yeah, so that's essentially what it is. This book does such a good job of like touching on topics that like even present day we're living with, where like just cars aren't meant for safety for women because they only use male like test dummies, and just women aren't like illnesses that impact women aren't being researched. The fucking spectrum and ADHD, like all of the girls from the 90s went undiagnosed because they only studied boys and it shows up differently in boys and girls. So it kind of like really hits on a lot of those topics as well as like the overarching topic of like grief.
I was just going to make a joke about the Hulk and Draga radiation, but instead I got kind of parallel to the X-Men. So all right, I'll keep my mouth shut when I got a joke, because
no, you're good.
No, let it rip, bud.
I can't make the joke, but I get a whole lot of information from it.
Joke away. It's called the Yap.
Well, okay, yeah. If you make a joke, it's fine. I'm not like offended, but like if you're asking a question, I'm also going to answer it.
No, okay.
Yeah, so this is the yappening, not the silencing.
Right.
I thought that was fun.
And we laugh at dark stuff all the time, obviously.
We do. We really do.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we get through life.
And literally, if you can't laugh, you'll cry, so.
Yeah.
Laugh till you cry till you laugh.
Yep.
Sometimes. So that leads me into, yes, the mass dragoning of 1955. That is a thing that happened. Now, when I did my research, a lot of people did say that Alex's mother dragoned, and then she undragoned. No one knows how she undragoned, but she came home and is resuming her, life. So Aunt Marla, we stand Aunt Marla half and half,
We do.
We'll get into that. She makes me mad as much as I love her. Aunt Marla makes me cry.
Yeah.
But anyways, Aunt Marla,
Aunt Stan Marla. Okay.
She is an exceptional mechanic, and she works on airplanes, everything. She's respected. She's an unconventional woman of the 1950s. She's bold. She isn't afraid to speak out against things. She doesn't like the whole societal, like, women are meant to be homemakers type deal. Even her sister was so...
She lives a life of danger.
Yes, live a life of danger. So Marla, she often makes side comments to her sister, which is Alex's mother, about how she wasted her education, which obviously women in that time frame, and especially in this book, they're not known to go on to college. They barely finish high school, I would assume, and they just make homes. But her sister was very exceptional and very scholarly, so she had the potential to go get a college education, which is very big for a woman, and she threw it all aside to make a home.
But part of the reason Marla very specifically like gets on her sister about this is because I don't necessarily remember what specifically happened, but I do know that Marla ended up having to raise her sister, so she sacrificed a lot to make sure that her very bright, intelligent sister could have, like, a chance at a successful life. She basically saw, like, you can go to college, you can be something, so I will work incredibly hard to make sure that I'm giving you the best opportunities possible. And then she just ended up getting married and becoming a housewife, and then that was all she was.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a drag.
Yeah.
Also, Marla's the type of woman who would have a roommate, if you're catching the drift on that one.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for her.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? It's hard to, keep a home in this economy. I'm sure it was hard in the 50s as well.
Absolutely.
Good friends. The best of friends.
Yeah, best of friends.
And they were roommates.
So yeah, as her mom comes back from, like, disappearing for a while, Alex is more close to Marla. Marla is her idol, essentially, her everything. Marla encourages Alex to learn more, to question the rules, she buys her books to learn more. Mm-hmm. And which, obviously, you come to find out as Alex gets older, her skills in mathematics are unparalleled. So, as a woman who's good at mathematics, like, she really wants to go to college and pursue that. Like her mom did when her mom was younger before she had a family. So, Alex is very, like, against, I think, the idea of just settling down, getting married, and starting a family overall. But anyways, back to, Marla's helping Alex's mom get better from wherever the fuck she came from. She's still sick. She's still, like, disassociated from the home. Like, Alex doesn't, like, really see her as mom at the beginning with her coming home. And I would say, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Alex's mother, as she started becoming more present and wanting to, like, bond with her daughter, she gets more jealous of Marla. Because Marla is so close to Alex that eventually, through all of the comments that Marla's made, and as Alex's mom is getting back on her feet, she tells Marla basically to get the fuck out and not come back until she's married and has a kid of her own, essentially.
Yeah, and that was, like, one of the most heartbreaking scenes.
It was so heartbreaking. And then Marla gets up and does it.
Because basically Marla says, I'll see what I can do for you. Like, I'll do this for you. I'll see what I can do. And then she goes off and she gets a husband. But in my sort of interpretation, a lot of the reason that Alex's mom is having an issue with Marla is because Alex and Marla are incredibly similar, as in Alex would also have a roommate. And so her mom, the whole entire, like, family dynamic is, like, we keep secrets and we don't talk about anything. So I think a lot of that was her being like, I want my daughter to follow in my footsteps because that's the only way she's gonna have a decent life for herself. So, like, I can't be having you over here telling her she can be smart and be single and all this stuff. So that was part of the reason. She's like, I need you to, be normal. But also, Alex's dad doesn't like Marla at all.
No.
Her being all up in their, like, business and stuff too.
Because Alex's dad likes a put-in-line woman.
Yeah.
He likes the stereotypical 50s woman that will shut up, make you dinner, clean the house, raise the children. That's it. Rinse and repeat.
He's also the biggest piece of fucking trash, like, ever.
Oh, yeah, he is a massive piece of shit because while this is all going on, we'll just say he's having an affair with his secretary this whole fucking time. So we're gonna get back to that in a second.
And that's not even the worst thing he does.
No, not even the worst thing he does. No.
It's actually one of his better points.
So Marla, she goes off, she gets married to a man she doesn't like. And, I would say I don't know if they describe him as, like, he's, like, a good man or he's just a playman. They don't really talk about her, like, marriage life. It's just she gets married, then she gets pregnant with Beatrice. And then once Beatrice is born, Beatrice becomes Alex's total fixation. It's like, this little baby, they're as close as sisters while they were growing up together. Like, Beatrice just became her, like, everything. And then, Marla starts becoming very, I think, frustrated with, her husband, the constraints of being a woman in this society, and, her own family, and she ends up dragoning. She just dragons and fucks off, essentially. But I'm not like, I don't want to say she fucks off. It's not, since it's such a hush-hush thing, dragons can't stay. Once women dragon, they have to leave. Like, there's no staying.
And, like...
So she does it suddenly, and then go for it.
Yeah, no, she literally does it incredibly suddenly. And as far as Alex knows, just one day her mom went out and came back with Beatrice, and she's like, this is your sister now, that's not your cousin, it's never been your cousin, that's your sister. And then that's it. They don't talk about Marla, they don't talk about what happened, nothing.
You went out for milk and came back, wow.
Literally.
Yep. I went out for milk and picked up your baby sister. No, that's my cousin. No, it's your sister. That's literally what it is. It's like, this is your sister. She's only your sister, never your cousin. Marla doesn't exist, basically. And that's how it is. It's hush-hush. That's...
When you're saying that, like, they dragon, but they can't stay, is that because, like, they know that they're not welcome there, or is it, like, a dragon instinct type of thing?
It's kind of all of the above, but also, when we say that they turn into dragons, they're, like, gigantic. Like, the world isn't even set up for them to stay, even if they wanted to stay, you know? Like, they're literal dragon size. How you would picture a dragon, that's how big they are.
Okay, are we talking like a...
Yeah, and then, like, I would say it's a very violent thing, too.
Like a one-person dragon? Like, How to Train Your Dragon? Are we talking, like, a bus-size dragon? Or are we talking like kaiju?
I'm gonna say, like, probably, like, bus size. That was the...
Okay.
Like, bus size, yeah.
Yeah, not to, like, spoil anything, but at a point there are dragons, like, living in society, and they have to live in, like, a giant factory, essentially, because that's where they can fit.
Yeah. You say dragon size like that as a standard thing.
Well, no, but it's not, like, a humanoid dragon, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, they're not, like, a human-sized dragon.
We're not talking Dragon Tails or Barney or something.
Correct. They are full-on dragon, like, flying, breathing fire, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to, bring up the reference, but Harry Potter size.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I'm with it.
Yeah, pretty much. So Marla becomes dragon with sister Beatrice. They grow up together. I would say that at this point, Beatrice, her mom, they're not the closest in the world, but they're like, her and Beatrice are super close, like tighter than a knot. And mom's is better, like not better. The relationship's a lot better as it goes on. During this time frame, after Marla, Miss Wanda appears. So Alex is still young, still very young. I would say grade school, almost between grade school and high school when she meets Wanda.
Wanda?
And Wanda's like her.
I do not remember Wanda being this chick's name.
I did research. I don't remember her name being Wanda, but my research says her name is Wanda. And you could Google it because I could be wrong, but Wanda is her first crush. So Alex gets a crush on Wanda, and I would say the feeling is mutual because, I wouldn't say, like, they're kids, so whatever you can do equivalent, like, romance for kids, her dad catches them being kind of, like, lovey-dovey, like, laying in the grass. And then, so suddenly, there's a for sale sign up at their house, and she never sees Wanda again. So it's another first example of, I have deeper feelings than sister or friend for this person. Dad got mad. They're gone now, and I never get to see her again. So, yes. I don't know if you want to double check that name for me.
I'm literally working on it right now. I guess let me...
Yeah, here. I got her last name, too.
The name Wanda never appears in this book.
Does it really not? Because they call her Wanda.
I just searched.
Hold on, give me a second. Hold on.
I feel like that's one of those names you would definitely remember.
Oh, Sonia!
Sonia, there we go.
Yeah, see, that's another part, too. So, like, when I was doing my research, they're like, Wanda! I'm like, who the fuck is Wanda?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and they're like, it's her one true love. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I was pretty distinctly sure that Sonia was... Wait, was it Sonia or Sandra?
It's Sonia, but it's Sonia with a J. I know her family's from, like, I think Eastern Europe.
Yeah, because Sonia was her childhood love. They meet again in college. They have their moment, but she doesn't end up marrying or, like, being forever partners with Sonia. She's Camilla.
Yes, there you go. Because I was just scrolling through, but yeah, Wanda doesn't appear in the book, not ever. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, okay. That's all. I was like, wait, pause.
Also, sorry for the misinformation. I knew something was weird about that. That's why, like, Read the book. Read the book.
Don't trust us.
And then, you know, discuss it.
I mean,
don't trust us at all. I'm kidding. Don't trust me. You can trust them. You don't trust me. You don't trust me. Not if I haven't read it right away, which moving forward when it's my turn, it's going to be all fresh and shit. But this one I wanted to touch back on because it's been a while since we read it, but I thought it was such like, it made me feel such a type of way that I wanted to touch back on the book. But we read it a while ago.
Yeah, we read it like in the spring. But we
read it a while ago.
The very aggressive theme of the entirety of the book is like having grief but not being able to process it because she misses her aunt so much, and she's not even allowed to mention that she existed, let alone like try to process her grief for her aunt that's like gone. Yeah.
Sounds good. I mean, sounds all bad, but let's continue.
Okay. All right. So, where were we? So yeah, she meets her first love. It's Sonia, not Wanda. Fuck you, internet. I guess I did college research. I would have failed that paper. The teacher would have been like, "Who the fuck is Wanda?"
You think someone would do that? Go on the internet and tell lies?
Yes.
I gotta tell Facebook.
Oh my god, not lies. But that's why I was like, when they're like, Marla was never in the military, I'm like, but I distinctly remember her being an awesome bitch in the military. Like, no way.
I feel like maybe she wanted to be a pilot, but they wouldn't let her, so she just became a mechanic. Maybe. I don't know that that's factual, but I do remember her being in the military.
Yeah. Okay. So Sonia moves away. Something obviously clearly happened between her father and her parent, or Sonia's parents, and they're gone. So she remembers that's like a distinct moment, like in her life that she remembers, like can never be lovers, only roommates type moment.
Yeah.
So, which you do get hints at the beginning before I think even Marla got married that Marla was also a lesbian. I can't say that Alex is full lesbian. I'm not entirely sure, but I know Marla is. And she had a lover too, and her name was Beth, and we'll get to Beth later, but they can never really be together. It's like, it's just wasn't societal, like, I mean, we still struggle with it today in current times, unfortunately. So even then, it was more taboo. But yeah, so, moving on from Alex. So Alex's mother becomes increasingly more sick as like cancer progresses. And she does end up passing away. And her dad's not even there when she passes away. And when she does, it's like another moment of loss for her and Beatrice. But before she can even begin to process that, her dad brings home his secretary. She's already pretty heavily pregnant. And he's like, yeah, she's moving in. And he takes Alex and Beatrice, packs them up in his car, doesn't say a word, drops them off in an apartment, and is like, yeah, this is your new home. You're pretty much old enough, Alex, so you can handle Beatrice. Because he doesn't want anything to do with Beatrice.
So Alex is like, I think 16 at this point, but yeah, he's like...
Yeah, she's under the age of 18.
He's like, your rent's taken care of, I'll give you money for groceries, but don't tell anybody at school that this is the situation, and you guys need to make sure that you're being good girls and like making me proud.
This could really make me look bad.
Yeah. And as sort of time is progressing, since we just did a bit of a time jump, essentially Alex is having issues in school in that the teachers are treating her like she's dumb, even though she's clearly more intelligent than the boys in her class. And one thing that cooked me, that like made me want to fucking find someone and rip their face off, is that her teacher comes up to her and says that she's making the boys in her class feel really bad because she's getting such good grades and she shouldn't show off as much. So like, do poorly on your tests because the boys are fucking mad that they can't like compete with you, essentially. And then yeah, so that was a whole fucking thing. And
get good.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes, and then
like, geez.
Yes, and then Beatrice is very much free spirit, fucking sweet little Beatrice, love her to death. But she's like starting to talk about dragons or mentioning dragons. She said that there's like a dragon living in an abandoned house down the street and, like, just all of the stuff. So every once in a while, she'll just be like, I'm a dragon! And then everyone's like, stop it! No, don't! Shh, no, don't. So that's just kind of the whole thing that they've been growing up with, more or less.
Yeah, it's a lot of the big struggle is that Beatrice is feeling the call to dragon, and it's not, this time it's not out of rage that she wants to dragon. So it's a unique case of, it's not feminine rage or like frustration in your life. She just genuinely loves the fuck out of dragons, and she just wants to be one, so.
Yeah. It's like an intense emotion. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an intense emotion. So, Alex is constantly afraid of her dragoning. I think not so much the dragon, more so she would have to leave her, and Alex doesn't want Beatrice to leave. Beatrice is the last one in her life that she, like, is there, so she really much wants her to stay. So Alex falls into the unfortunate trap of generational trauma, where she can kind of recognize that it's wrong for her to want to hold Beatrice back, but it's like, no, this is bad, stay with me, please stay with me, because she's also been, I would say, heavily broken. Everyone she's loved has left her, so right. Beatrice is the only one. And
this is all she knows anyways. Like, this is what has been modeled for her, is like, we don't talk about this, but every once in a while, Beatrice, like, her eyes will change, or, like, her skin will, like, change into, like, gold, like, she will every once in a while start, like, changing very slightly, and Alex is very much like, don't leave me, like, stay with me, like, please don't leave me type of energy, but also, like, the mothering and trying to protect her. And then this is, like, the phase of her life where Beatrice is now her daughter. So, like, when she met Beatrice, she was her cousin, and then she became her sister, and now she's effectively her daughter, that she's raising. And while the book's progressing, there is a scientist who is doing research on this, who keeps, like, bringing it to Congress and talking about, like, how important it is to study and understand and type of thing, but his study, it has to be underground. Like, nobody will, like, allow him to do it, so we're seeing articles throughout the book regarding this, and before Marla dragoned, she essentially gave, like, journals and stuff to Alex, and I believe Marla even knew the scientist, so she had a lot of, like, his journals and things that he had written about dragoning that she gave to Alex. So there is a point where, like, they moved out, and then Alex realizes, like, oh, I had all that stuff, like, hidden in the wall of the house, so she comes back to, like, kind of gather stuff.
Oh yeah, she goes back to the house.
And she doesn't have a car, obviously, and then she basically has to, like, drag all of the boxes of, like, their mother's stuff, like, home in, like, a sled, like, because or they can't even be bothered to, like, put them in the trunk and take them back home. Like, she essentially had to walk all the way to, like, her dad's house, load up all of the stuff that was essentially going to be thrown out that belonged to her mother, and then, like, drag it all back home. And I think it was, like, in the middle of winter, so they had, like, a sled that they were carting these boxes.
Yeah.
Like, her dad is, like, also, the absolute
Dr.
worst.
Gans. Yeah, it's Dr. Gans, I believe, is the guy who's researching the dragons, and then she also meets Mrs. Gazinska. I don't know if that's how you say it. I could be butchering the name, like, entirely, but she's a librarian. Go for it.
No, I don't remember how it's pronounced either, but I do know that you're fairly close. I don't think that you're very, like, spot on, but you are very close to the pronunciation.
But she's a librarian, and she offers Alex a place pretty much to study and also to feed the knowledge. And I believe she also is aware of Dr. Gans, and like, they are all interconnected. And so the librarian also, it was risking her life and career by also talking about these things with Alex. Alex at this point, not only is she trying to focus on mathematics, and the librarian is trying to help her get into college because she has connections. Even to the extent of Alex has to take the interview, I think, under guise of a man. So that they will actually take her interview for college.
Basically, to make sure that she's putting Alex instead of Alexandra on, like, all of her, like, paperwork and stuff. And then this librarian, she's essentially a widow, again, another fucking queen whose, like, husband died very young. She never took another husband. She has all this inheritance. And then part of what she ends up doing is, like, opening libraries and stuff like that, and she's allowing these scientists who are studying dragoning to, like, work in secret in the library and stuff. And while she's, like, trying to help Alex, she's also trying to, like, kind of, like, pull the cork on her grief. Like, you can talk about this. Like, you can talk to me about this. Like, you don't have to suffer in silence type of thing, which Alex doesn't love. But, you know, when someone's, like, trying to make you let out things that you're bottling up, that is pretty difficult.
Alex, have you ever heard of a fursona?
Oh my god, shut up.
It doesn't need to be a dragon. It could be any animal you want. It can be a made-up animal, like Sleipnir.
Any animal you want. Yeah, so she meets those wonderful people, and but yeah, no, so she does get into college, and so she's doing her whole college thing. So there is a thing that does happen, I think, at Beatrice's school. I don't know if it's, I can't really tell if it's Alex's school or Beatrice's school, because, like, there's dueling things going on at the same time, where they call it the Little Warming.
Yes.
And a bunch of kids from the school end up becoming dragons. And they leave. It's like younger girls are becoming dragons and embracing it.
And don't they set the school on fire?
Yeah, somebody fucking set the school on fire. I think they did. There was, like, a whole little rebellion moment. It was a moment to say, we cannot ignore it. Like, you cannot. They're doing something so that nobody can ignore it. That they're making a statement, like,
right,
this is happening. This is real. There's no more silence. And upon doing that, dragons start returning home.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine a grown-ass fucking dragon just suddenly in the kitchen making food for their kids that they left behind. And then even Marla comes back as a dragon.
Yes.
And she sees Beatrice for the first time. Not first time, but, like, first time since being a dragon.
Because I think the dragon that was next door, I think that was Marla. So, like, she had essentially been there for Beatrice.
The abandoned house?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the house was abandoned because the woman turned into a dragon, killed her husband, and, like, took off. And then just nobody ever, like, went in and put the house up for sale, because then you would kind of have to answer some questions as to why it's an abandoned house type of thing, so it's easier to just ignore it. And
they live in a state where they don't have to disclose that there was a dragon that lived in the house.
Right. So Marla would kind of, like, hang out in the backyard or in the house, and Beatrice would come over and talk to her, but obviously she doesn't know that that's even her mom. I don't think she does. Like,
no, she doesn't.
Yeah, she's been raised being Alex's sister until eventually they transition into more so the, like, parent child dynamic.
Check.
And that's where they all end up, like, living in the warehouse together, because as much as Alex is angry at Marla left. I'm like, for my whole interaction with Marla, I could be taking it differently, because obviously I've been through some things in my life. Whereas, like, when Marla came back, I took it very, like, Marla was just being, like, stop. Like, not, she didn't say these words, but the feeling I got from it was Alex was hurt. She wanted to know why you left, was angry. And Marla's just kind of like, I did it. It's a thing that I did. Like, type of, like, it felt very brushed off to me. Like, I don't feel like there was really much of an apology of, like, I'm sorry I left. It was just, like, I did what she was just, I feel like Marla's very unapologetically herself.
Right. I don't necessarily think it was just like a get over it type of thing, but I think it was more so I needed to do this to be happy, and everybody deserves the right to be happy. So, like, you can be angry at me, but you don't get to judge me for it type of, I feel like that was kind of more so, like,
I think that's how it is.
And it was very much like I wanted to be there for you, just I couldn't because society, etc. But it was more so like I needed to do this, and you don't get to judge me for that, but you can still be angry. I understand. So you felt abandoned, like, I get it, but
your emotions are valid, but so are mine.
And it's like,
right, exactly.
Marla, if you, like, break down Marla as a character, look at how much she sacrificed in her life for all of these people, and this is the first time she did something for herself, and by for herself, she got together with her Beth, who's also a dragon.
Yes.
Who comes into the picture as well, I believe.
Yeah.
And so they do eventually do this dragon, like, family. They help with Beatrice. Like, Beatrice isn't dragon because Alex is still very afraid that Beatrice is going to dragon and leave her. And Alex is going to college. So they manage all of that pretty well. And even in college, Alex gets reunited with Sonia.
Mm-hmm.
And they do date for a while. They focus on that, where Sonia also helps with Beatrice and is a very big supporter in Alex's life. And then I don't remember exactly if there was like a lot like of significance in between that time frame, but then it jumps to Alex being old. Like, she's older. And she's no longer with Sonia. She was with a woman named Camilla.
I think...
And they're pretty much as married as you could be married.
I think that Sonia and Alex broke up because I feel like Sonia wanted to travel and Alex is like, well, I have to be here for Beatrice type of thing. So it wasn't like anything negative happened. It was just, again, their lives became incompatible. Also, a fun little side quest is that Aunt Marla and Beth, they have like a third. So like they're a cute little lesbian dragon triad living in this abandoned factory.
I couldn't remember her name, but they're definitely like, I always took them as Polly, and I'm like, what a dream.
Yeah, they're like a cute little
a fucking dream
trio of lesbian dragons.
I love it.
Nothing really to do with anything, but I saw a TikTok that was basically, if you had told me that the end of the show Riverdale ended with the 4 main characters in like a poly relationship, I would not have believed you, and I would have lost.
Right.
And that just I know the first season is like there's something about a Goblin King or something like that, and it ends with everyone being in a poly relationship. So I'm like, oh god, I think I need to see the show now.
Literally, yes.
I didn't know that, and I might have to actually watch the show now. Oh my god.
And at one point, Alex kind of goes for like a walk at night just to kind of clear her head, and she sees this guy sitting like down by the river.
Is there a van?
Literally, yeah. And he has a journal, and
that's Dr. Gans. Yeah.
Yes, he has a journal, and he, I think, has a camera, and she's like, oh, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm studying, like, her over there, and Alex is so gaslighting herself. There's clearly a fucking dragon on the other side of this pond, but she's like, oh, it's like, must be a duck or something. Like, she's just very much like, oh, he likes animals, but it's so obvious that it's a fucking dragon, and she's just fully gaslighting herself because she can't physically see the dragon, so she's like, oh, he must just be super into ducks. And then at some point she kind of says something to him along the lines of like, oh, you really like, and he's like, oh, and he just like gets up and leaves because he's like, I thought we were on the same page, but we are not on the same page, so like I'm gonna head out.
I'm gonna get in my van and go to a different part of the river.
Right, literally. So there's that whole...
Yeah, there's like a bunch of like side stuff. And one of the biggest things for me was at the end, as she's like retelling her life, Beatrice, she does become a dragon. She can go back and forth. She can become a dragon, and she can come back to her mortal self, and she is a speaker. She's like a keynote speaker when she grows up, traveling the world speaking about dragons and stuff, I believe. So Beatrice becomes like basically like... It's like an influential speaker. Like, I don't know how to describe other than she's being great.
Yeah.
And
yes, she like fully goes dragon, and she's out here as kind of like a dragon activist.
Yeah, dragon activist.
And I literally just saw like a bunch of names, and I'm thinking that Beth maybe wasn't. But that sounds right, but I don't know, whatever. And there might have been 4 lesbians instead of just 3. I don't know.
There was a bunch of people that showed up.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a quote, so that is very specifically why I'm, like, flipping through here.
Oh, there's one quote I want. There's, like, one big quote in here, and I mean, you both really liked it when we were reading it.
That, like, fucking gutted me? Yeah.
Yeah, it gutted me, too. It was, like, what is love but something, I don't know. That could have been a different book. And
I've heard that kind of sentiment, like, almost word for word somewhere else, and I'm like, oh, this must just be a thing that people say that, like, I've just never fucking heard.
Edith?
What are you saying?
I just looked up Beth.
Yeah,
and then Marla, and I see the name Edith.
Edith, and then there was also, like, a Jeanne or something like that. But yeah. So, yes. She essentially supports, obviously, Beatrice is becoming a dragon. She settles down with, like, her lovely wife. She essentially traveled the country, giving lectures and presenting papers, regarding, like, dragoning and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then, one thing I think needs to be... Okay, so maybe there's not a Beth, because there's Edith, Jean, and Clara.
I'm almost wondering if you found the notes from, like, maybe it was published in a different language and some of the names got changed, because I know sometimes that happens. So I'm almost wondering if, like, what you found was from, like, a different version of publication. But Camilla's correct.
I'm going to heavily say, definitely read the book.
Yes.
But the themes are correct behind it. So what at the end of the book, you discover Alex never once embraced... I think Alex does have some... She does feel some call to be a dragon, but she never, ever acts on it. And I think this book is such a powerful, like, sentiment of choice, because she chose not to be a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
She liked the life... I can't say she always liked her life, but she ends her life very happily. It is implied that if you're a dragon, you don't age as quickly as you would if you're normal. And obviously, if her mother had dragons, she probably wouldn't have had cancer. Or died from the cancer, which I think is something Marla touched on. So I think it's interesting that Alex just definitely chooses to be herself, and not a dragon. And then another note. Brittany, tell me if you remember this, because I feel like there is something in this book that made me so happy, but I couldn't find it at all, like, in any of my researching, is that I think Dr. Gans had mentioned in his research that there is an instant of a male-born person who would have probably been transgender at the time, and through their own female rage became a dragon. Like, there's one instance of that.
I don't distinctly recall that, but, like, I wouldn't necessarily, like, put it past that. But also, like, part of why he wanted to study is, like, nobody necessarily knew what happened to the dragons after they flew off. So it's like, this could theoretically be, like, dangerous for women. This could be something that we want to, like, solve so it doesn't happen to people type of thing. Like, we don't necessarily know that this is, like, a good thing. And, yeah, just people are like, nope, we don't talk about it.
So is the dragon a metaphor for, like, just female empowerment or for lesbianism?
No, I'm going to definitely say it's female empowerment and kind of, like, breaking, like, oppressive chains type of thing, and kind of living your life for yourself. But yeah. Okay,
because I know Marla and her cohorts, her polycule, were... So all, if not some dragons? No, some, if not all dragons.
They're all dragons. They were all dragons.
You know, it's kind of said that Beatrice dabbles, or she can change back and forth, so bisexuality. Alex, and it's, you know, it's all the same family, all women except for the one instance of, you know, potential trans ideology. That's not what
ideology? That's a crazy way for you to say that.
Yeah, that wasn't what I was going for. Instance.
Yeah.
Instance of transgenderism.
Example.
Alex ignores those feelings, like, she has those ideas of becoming a dragon, but she can suppress them to live a quote-unquote normal life.
And same with Alex's mother, because, like, if she didn't directly turn into a dragon and then change, it's possible that the beginning was just cancer-related, because I know that she was, like, didn't have hair, and, like, her aunt would, like, rub, like, salve and stuff into her skin. But I think when Marla changed into a dragon, I think her mother almost did it too, but she was like, we can't both be dragons, like, someone has to be here for the girls type of thing. So I do think that she almost dragoned the same day Marla did, but she didn't. She chose not to.
See, just from my, like, trying to understand, I could see that as, like, experimentation.
Yeah.
So I think there's, like, a case to be made for both, just from my understanding, which is clearly not a full reading of the book.
Right. It has a lot of, like, themes that it kind of covers. Obviously, just, like, how women's, like, bodies and things that impact us are not only not studied, but, like, things that directly impact women are just not even spoken about and are, like, very hush-hush.
Not understood, not spoken of, not addressed.
Right. And then, like, a very big theme here is, like, generational trauma and dealing with grief. Like, that was very specifically where I, like, grasped onto, obviously, just because reasons, clearly. But yeah, so, Jessy, I think I found the, like, the sort of quote thing. I want to read it, if that's okay.
That's fine, but give me 1 second. So her aunt's lover's name was actually Edith, and she dragoned before her.
Yes.
And that's why she's not there. So
I think
but yeah, anyway, so go for the quote.
I think they met in the Air Force too. I think that Edith changed into a dragon.
Yes, they did.
During that. I'm almost positive that was a thing. Okay, so this is, like, literally 98% of the way through the book, so this is kind of how we're ending, but she's talking about Camilla and, like, how amazing she was and how it's, like, painful to even think about her, because Camilla has obviously passed. Let's see here. Okay. Sometimes I feel that we are all tricked by love and its rigid requirement of pain. We find the love of our lives, and we cleave to our beloved when we are still quite young and do not yet understand that we must die. That we must, by our nature, die someday. In any successful marriage, one partner must face the reality of being very old and very alone. What is grief but love that's lost its object? And I've heard, like, grief is love that has no place to go. I've heard that, like, somewhere else, so that must be...
What is love if not grief persevering? Or grief is love persevering from WandaVision?
Maybe, but I've legitimately heard, like, grief is love that just has no place to go. Like, I heard that very specifically. Yeah, and just sort of that, how Camilla, like, passed was, like, a little too close for home for me. Specifically, which is why I was, like, just sobbing on my lunch break as I finished it, and I told my mom, I'm like, do not read this before you're going to bed. Like, if you need to be somebody, do not read this at the, like, please, for the love of God. But yeah, it's a really good book.
Like, resonated with me hard.
Yeah, because I had posted about it, obviously after I finished it, because it was incredibly impactful, especially just given what I'm dealing with this year. But yeah, my mom saw the posts and she's been wanting to, like, get into reading, and she's like, I bought that book, and I'm like, oh God. Like, yeah, I'm like, I definitely was in a place where I could read it, but, like, I'm so certain that she certainly was not quite there. And Camilla, in very similar fashion to what my mom went through.
Got it.
So that was really upsetting.
I do think this book is a great read. I would not say it's a happy book. Like, if you've been through shit in your life, I think you will feel almost every section of Alex's life. Like, you will understand. And even if you haven't been through a lot of shit, like, I'm sure you will resonate with you, because when I read it from front to back, I think it left a pit in my chest, but it was a very real pit. Like, I could relate to everything she was kind of saying. Which is proof that, like, you know, we do have a lot better than, like, our mothers before us, but it's still very prevalent that, like, it sometimes sucks to be a woman in this society. Right. But I wouldn't change it for the world, you know?
And plus, like, just sort of the theme of, like, you parent the way you were parented. So, like, if your mother didn't have the tools to be kind and patient in what you needed, then realistically you will not be able to be that for, like, the next generation type of thing. Because Beatrice just wanted to be her own person, but Alex, even though she knew what it was like to be stifled and to be, like, not allowed to be her own person, she had so much fear installed in her that she couldn't let Beatrice be her own person either, because her whole life she was taught that, like, being your own person and doing what you want and not following society is dangerous and it's a bad thing and you shouldn't speak about it. So she didn't have the tools to even be, like, a good caregiver to Beatrice, or be the caregiver that Beatrice needed her to be, I should say, more so than not a good caregiver, because she was, you know, she did the best she could. She was 16 and kicked out of her house by her dad because he wanted a new family. Yeah.
Oh, to end this on a better note, I'm pretty sure her dad ends up, like, busted and, like, wifeless by the end of this last time that they meet. Yeah. He's not having a good time.
Yeah,
so, fuck him.
He definitely, certainly dies at some point, and I know he essentially dies alone.
Spoiler.
I know, right, that's the spoiler. I know that, I feel like
that's the spoiler.
Reaches back out to Alex and, like, has a conversation with her. I think
he does. She comes back to the house and he gives her, like, this wooden box.
Yes. But yeah, essentially his, like, secretary turned wife takes their kids and, like, fucking pieces out, essentially, and he's just, like, left completely alone. And then when he becomes, like, sick and is about to die, he essentially has nobody. And I do think that he reaches out to Alex, and she doesn't necessarily want to, like, have anything to do with him, but he essentially is like, I have, like, one last thing of your mother's that I want to give to you or whatever, so.
Yeah, I can see that going either way. Like, you know, I forgive, or no, you had your chance.
Yeah.
Go be alone.
Right. But yeah.
Right. But yeah, if you guys have not read this, those of you who are listening, I definitely suggest going to give it a read if you found this interesting. If you can go back and read it, because there's, like, a lot of, like, little hidden things in here that are, like, just chef's kiss. But yeah, so that's the end of my retelling of When Women Were Dragons. Thank you, Brittany, for filling in the gaps.
You're good.
See, when you get me as a host, you might get a million different names that are not even related to the book. See, like,
you're just, like, making up your own story. No, I'm joking.
I think I said during Slewfoot, you know, we're gonna play Two Truths and a Lie. You have to read the book to find out which is the actual lie. Literally.
I also like that each of us have our own very specific style of, like, kind of covering everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
That's why I'm like, I feel like my hosting is going to be, like, a every now and then thing, because, like, it's chaotic. This is the most scripted I think I've been in a very long time, too. So that says something. Because it wasn't that scripted.
I think it works that kind of Brittany is the most put together, is like it makes us sound like we're not.
No,
but, like,
I'm just really, like,
thorough.
I'm really organized just by nature, because hello, undiagnosed ADHD, but, like, just kind of living for 35 years and trying to be a human and having such a hard time being hyper organized is, like, one of the ways that I kind of am able to, like, get a grasp and, like, a foothold and, like, carry on. So that's just kind of one of my strengths, is just being incredibly organized. But also the spectrum part of things is I like things in order, and I like coming up with systems and stuff like that. So that's kind of where my strengths lie, is just being super, super organized.
And just think about, like, I'm
I feel like
doing the audio editing. I can definitely hear the difference in our types of humor. Like, Jesse's is, like, she's telling the story very straightforward, but then the humor comes from, like, you know, us playing off of each other.
Yeah.
You have your, like, little jokes and kind of references sprinkled in. I'm trying to go for more of a, you know, nostalgia critic,
one-liner.
Yeah, cinema snob type, or just, like, weird reference that niche
comedic observations.
Yeah. Only 3 listeners will, like, even if we had 100 listeners, only 3 people would get, and 1 might find it funny, but that's my type of humor.
I think my favorite was the one we recorded yesterday, where you go, wait, where did the banana come in?
Where did the banana come in?
Just your tisms just is sometimes so unintentionally, like, hilarious. But I do speak really fast, and I did very kind of, so she made, like, a banana, and
well, I was thinking, it was an incomplete a pun, I guess. Like, without the split, it doesn't really work. You have to know where it's going.
Like a dad joke type of thing, which I thought if anybody knew like cheesy pun, it would have been you. But
it's something that, like, there's always that second part. You never hear just the first part. So the fact that you never got to like the punchline, basically.
Literally.
So I was like, wait, where'd the banana come from? Was that part of the story? Did I miss it?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I know we have the one that I'm working on now. And then I know you guys were going to do one. I put that on the schedule. If you want to tease not necessarily the next episode that's going to be posted after this one, but the next episode that you guys are going to be working on, if you want to tease that a little. Yeah,
I know we had talked about Alchemize yesterday. Did we want to do Dungeon Crawler Carl first?
I think we should start I think we should do Alchemized because because Brittany can fill in between while we're working on Alchemized, because it's a thick one.
Ooh, she thick.
Ooh.
It's not like Silver Flame's thick, but it is thicker, and so we should probably start reading that one.
Thicker than a Snicker.
But yeah, no, I really want to read Alchemized.
So, Alchemized will be kind of
it'll be me and.
We're going to be ganging up on you.
We'll be ganging up on you. I just like the cool.
Yeah, that's great because that'll be the first one I haven't read, so that's like exciting for me. Like I'm very excited because I've read every single one that's been done, even if it wasn't like me spearheading it.
Yeah.
But
I'm also working on like one just by myself that Brady hasn't read.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do that. So you just don't even tell her what you're gonna read, because she'll probably like download the audiobook and it'll be done before you're even done. So don't even tell her what you're gonna read.
It's not her speed,
just
but
look at her library.
I think I could, once I do my review, she might be like, okay, that sounds interesting, because it's my type of humor, which she would probably just enjoy.
But there's also there's some where it's like I want to know. I'm interested in like the Cliff Notes version, like Confessions, that I kept hearing about it and I didn't necessarily want to read it, and after hearing sort of a synopsis of it, I'm happy I heard the synopsis because it is kind of a wild book, but I'm almost certain I definitely wouldn't have liked it if I had read it. And then just a lot of the more kind of graphic splatterpunk stuff, I've been listening to someone summarize those because I have the curiosity of what is that? And I am a dark and spooky type of lady.
But you have your limits.
But I have my limits. So I am happy that literary works become more accessible when people do stuff like this. So that's kind of another reason I wanted to do this, besides the fact that it would be a really great thing for us all to kind of use our different skills and our different interests and work on a project collectively.
With our powers combined.
Yes.
We yap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Side note, I just realized since Christmas is coming up, can we just all read Krampus and then make that our big next one? We can save Alchemized for after.
Oh yeah.
Just because I have Krampus already downloaded, so I would like to start that. Because Christmas is fast approaching.
Yep, I do have Krampus now. And then my next episode that I'm writing, not my next episode that will air, it's a trilogy. So I am gonna do all three kind of back to back. Not in one episode, that would be insane. But I will just kind of be
we could do 3 in a row.
Doing that back to back.
3 in a row. Actually 3 in a row, or we can.
So we could do part 1, part 2.
Yeah, and then I'll probably do, as you suggested, the YA series that I really liked, just because. Everything we've done has been incredibly heavy. Not just me, but also
no, you're right.
But also Slewfoot and When Women Were Dragons. Both of those I told you to read, so those were things that were already on my TBR, and you wanted to read something with me, and I'm like, okay, this definitely feels like something that you would enjoy. But everything I fucking read is heavy. I was looking through it, and I'm like, nope, that's really heavy. Nope, that's really heavy. That's really heavy.
I have noticed that between you two, a lot of very women heavy feminist, even if it's dark themes.
I'm a feminist girly,
and I support that. It's just mine was a kind of lighthearted one about murder and stuff. My next one is about an rom-com. And then Dungeon Crawler Carl, so I'm going completely unserious.
No, but
I want to do Dungeon Crawler Lords.
Which is totally cool.
That will be a fun one. So Dungeon Crawler, I think, should be a series of part series that we do, because it's hilarious. It's so hilarious.
I've heard that audiobook is really good. It just doesn't feel like something that I would necessarily be interested in, especially when like my TBR is like.
I think you would like it.
My TBR is taller than I am.
Yeah, I think you would like it though.
It's lit RPG, right?
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's the term. Yeah. I don't know the terminology, but I think I've heard that from Kaylee's mouth. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's basically like the isekai kind of deal where I got transported to another world, but I can see everyone's, or even like Jumanji, I can see everyone's stats. I can level up. It's acknowledged that I level up.
Yep. That's it. Okay, Yep. That's it. When women were dragons.
The wagon. Okay.
Thanks for listening again. Go ahead and follow us in our socials below. Again, Discord's in the bottom, Fable for the book club's in the bottom, so you know what we're going to be reading next or what the things are going to be on our like TBR. And then we'll have a Patreon down the line. So yeah, and follow us on Instagram. Brittany's always posting there, so you'll be able to also find out what we're reading next there, especially for the week coming up. And have a great day.
Yeah.
Thanks for yapping, listening to us yap. Like, come yap with us in Discord. You know.
Yes, we love a good yap sesh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nick, are you gonna say your quote? It's your quote now.
I have a quote?
You do. You always say, was it keep on yapping?
I didn't know I had made that a thing. That was just something I was saying.
You did, yeah. It's something like that. Keep on yapping.
All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, to all the dragons out there, keep on yapping. Ooh woo.
Ooh woo.
Ooh woo.
Rawr is dinosaur for I love you.
Dragons are not dinosaurs.
They could be.
But you playing.
Okay.
Alright. Yap on.
Bye.
Bye.